but at what cost? The quality of music over the last decade has been, well, I'll let you be the judge of that.
Think you the you not even the fuck. I be going hard. I'm breaking their hearts and I don't like kids. And he's probably racist and don't like white kids.
Yeah, the rise of consumerism in society has profoundly impacted the music industry. But today, I'll be focusing particularly on hip-hop because I'm Black. Hip-hop has become increasingly commercialized and commodified to appeal to mass audiences. Now, like I said, I'm Black. Not only that, I'm 20. So I wasn't aware of this because hip-hop has just always been one of those things in my life. Also, whenever I think about the past, I don't think about it from a non-Black perspective, but a Black perspective. So I was never fully aware that hip-hop was underground because music was never a cultural conversation in my household. It's just something that was there. The genre that was started by Blacks for Blacks was a cultural movement that was used to articulate identity and politics, and reflected the social and economic struggles of Black folks from the inner city. Hip-hop had found its voice through spoken word and rhythm. At its inception, hip-hop's curation was inspired by the likes of funk music by Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, Mr. James Brown, and Jamie I Can't Dance, Hot Drum and Bass. Did I eat or did I eat? Don't come for me, shout out to all my Black Caribbeans. Since then, about every decade and a half, the sound of hip-hop changes. Music lovers experiment and try new sounds, and if we're lucky, we're left with iconic works from great artists like the Wu-Tang Clan, A Tribe Called Quest, The Far Side, and Public Enemy. Over the last decade, rap has become the top genre in the music market. In 2017, for the first time ever, R&B and hip-hop surpassed rock and became the most dominant genre consumed amongst music fans. But at what cost? The quality of music over the last decade has been, well, I'll let you be the judge of that.
Think you the you not even the fuck. I be going hard. I'm breaking their hearts and I don't like kids. And he's probably racist and don't like white kids.
Yeah. We went from artistry to aesthetics, from versatility to virality, from hooks to hits. In an age of overconsumption, the 50-year-old art form is constantly shifting, finding itself at odds with what it once was to what it's evolved to be. For better or worse, that's subjective, so I'll let you be the judge of that. But today, I want to explore the relationship between social media and consumerism and its impact on the rap scene. Let's take a walk down memory lane, shall we? On August 11th, 1973, in the recreation room at the apartment building located at 1520 Cedric Avenue, 18-year-old Clive Campbell, aka DJ Kool Herc, and his sister, 15-year-old Cindy Campbell, threw a back-to-school jam in the South Bronx. In a time of urban decay, gentrification, and economic despair, Cindy wanted to be a light at the end of the tunnel by throwing together a party for the neighborhood, also hoping to make some extra change for the upcoming school year.
At the time, New York City was almost bankrupt. There was really nothing there for kids to do. When we started the party, you felt connected.
What started as a 15-year-old bringing together her community in a time of racial inequality ended as a pivotal moment that would change the trajectory of Black culture forever. That night inspired the foundation for what we know today as hip-hop. Hip-hop was bigger than a musical genre, though. It was an art form for a people still under an oppressive society, and it became an outlet for young Black Americans to express themselves in a post-slavery world where they could be themselves in the presence of their peers. 6 years after that historic night, the Sugar Hill Gang released Rapper's Delight, introducing the genre to a wider audience and gaining popularity in the mainstream. By the 1980s, hip-hop was no longer underground and had expanded beyond New York. It could be heard on the radio in clubs and in cities such as Los Angeles, Atlanta, Toronto, St. Louis, and New Orleans. By 1989, hip-hop had established itself as a mainstay in popular music. That year, the Grammy introduced a new category, the Best Rap Performance. Although nominees LL Cool J, Salt-N-Pepa, and Will Smith, who won the award alongside DJ Jazzy Jeff, boycotted the ceremony, as the awards presentation was not televised.
We boycotted the 1989 Grammy show. We don't have a problem with the Grammy as an award or the Grammy as an institution. We just had a problem with the 1989 design of the award show. We feel that our music was important enough and is important enough to have been on this show.
In the years that followed, hip-hop continuously reinvented itself as rappers, DJs, and producers pushed the boundaries of the genre and took its popularity to new heights. Within the last 5 decades of hip-hop's inception, the art form has been through various tumultuous changes. According to Discogs.com, there have been about 10 eras of rap. The old school, 1979 to 1983. The golden age, 1983 to 1997. The conscious wave, 1983 to 2000. East Coast versus West Coast, 1991 to 1997. The rise of Southern rap, 1990 to 2005. The bling era, 1997 to 2006. The conscious resurgence, 2004 to present. The blog era, 2006 to 2014, the alternative revival, 2006 to present, and the rise of trap, 2014 to present. Now, I'm gonna try to be as real as possible, but in terms of what era of rap we're in now, I don't feel like there's a clear distinctive sound as there were years prior. For me, the last era I can recall was circa 2016, 2018, when we had multiple sonic layers. At the time, everything sounded either dark, deep, and metallic-y, melodic, vibrant, and bouncy, profound and philosophical, or grungy and gothic. Since then, I don't feel like there's been a distinctive sound. As a result of things such as COVID, the rise of social media, TikTok in particular, the institution of short-form content, and the aging of generations, I feel like we're living in what I like to call the fast food era of music. We are in the fast food era of mainstream hip-hop. Now, I don't know about y'all, but when I go get fast food, it's due to one of four reasons. Number one, I'm tired, I'm lazy, I'm not cooking. Not happening. Number two, I just got paid, but I don't feel like getting groceries. And who's finna spend all that extra money on a delivery fee, plus tax, plus a tip? Not me. Number three, I just got paid and suddenly start developing these bougie tastes or these expensive taste buds for things that are not in the house. And number four, since I'm not cooking, my man is not the best cook, so I'm probably not gonna eat what he makes. He just buys something to eat. Ultimately, it boils down to convenience and accessibility. Consequently, I feel like crap both mentally and physically later. Over time, that convenience can result in the entire redirection of my body's ecology and pockets too. That same sentiment is reflected in the way artists are creating music today. Mediocrity and laziness are at the core of mainstream hip hop right now. Before I get too deep though, let me define mainstream. My definition of mainstream is anything that is trending on TikTok or anything that Spotify or whatever streaming platform is pushing on your For You page of music. I don't listen to the radio, but if I did, I would take that into account as well. Virality is the name of the game, baby. As our attention spans decrease, the need for speed to internet points increase. With an internet connection being the only thing needed to become an artist in these elusive algorithms, people are constantly testing internet boundaries, trying to do the next attention-grabbing thing to go viral. Or conversely, copying and pasting a tried and tested method of fame. Both result in about 15 to 30 seconds, or sometimes shorter, of a chorus or a lyric that equates to a meme or a dance. That doesn't always translate into a tangible fan base. And in the rare case it does, very seldom will that fan base stand Father Time. Upcoming artists now have the world at their fingertips, in contrast to how the game used to be. Artists then used to have to be vetted in the game, whether they were standing on corners to solicit their mixtape in hopes of demoing it to somebody on a Walkman, or more contemporarily, having to get out from the comfort of their own home to perform at open mic nights in hopes an A&R was in the crowd scouting for new talents. Keep in mind that there was a lot less competition then, so only people who were truly passionate about the craft put in the actual effort to get somewhere with it. Due to the competition being smaller, the music industry moved a lot slower, and there was a process artists had to undergo for their overall development. See, development takes time, and considering the reach of the internet, labels are not viewing their hip-hop artists as creatives but as products. Thus, artistic development is a lost practice. If a modern hip-hop artist wants to break into the music industry, all they gotta do is say something catchy for about 15 to 30 seconds, and boom, stardom. Or if they don't have something to say, they can do something or have something extremely marketable that a label can capitalize off of, and boom, initiation to stardom. Just completely disregarding that entire developmental process that took anywhere between 2 to 5 years to accomplish to a small span of 6 months. Small risk, small reward. So rather than investing in somebody with lower performing analytics but actual talent, labels are playing it risk averse and placing the burden of self-development onto the artists themselves, and they're only signing they're mainly signing artists who already have a developed following. The only bright side that I can see to this mechanism is creative or 100% creative freedom for the artists themselves. But even that has its caveats. Unpopular opinion that I feel should be popular, but music consumers are not in the market for good music. Music consumers don't have any taste. The bar is in hell. Y'all don't want to listen to music for real. Y'all just want eye candy. Y'all just want to look at somebody that's cute. Sex sells, but goddamn. And labels are looking at what consumers want, but are not judging consumer opinions on a curve, bringing on longevity issues, resulting in the replacement cycle of these artists being so high. And it doesn't help that labels expect them to already be well assembled with little to no concrete experience navigating the music market. Like, imagine having your resume uploaded to LinkedIn or Indeed, and a job gets back with you and you get hired, but the expectations are through the roof. No training, no meetings, no nothing. Like, you're expected to perform on the same level as somebody who's been there longer than you have. Experience does not translate to in the field work. The onboarding process for new artists is detrimental not only to the labels, but to the artists and right back down to the consumer. This has been a controversial subject in the music world since labels used to be the financiers to craft an artist's identity. Now, artists are expected to come established in some way. Labels want to keep the overhead on these products, aka the artists, as low as possible to get a maximum return on their investments. From a business perspective, this makes perfect sense.
And if people are going to buy the product, in this instance, consume the music as cheaply as it's being presented, if I'm one of the bean counters in the accounting office looking at the spreadsheet, I'm going to say, why are we spending money on dance classes, on Sexy Red, if they're going to buy it anyway? Why are we spending money on vocal coaching on Sexy Red if they're going to buy it anyway? Why are we spending money on makeup and styling on Sexy Red if they're going to buy it anyway?
So as we continue to listen to lower quality music, there's no reason for labels to provide music consumers with something of substance because they'll make their money regardless. Great for business, horrible for the preservation of the art. Like any other good thing Uncle Sam gets his hands on, he milks it until he can't get nothing out of it no more. In America, we live in a capitalistic society. For those who aren't aware, capitalism is an economic and political system that allows private businesses and individuals to control and make their own economic decisions. Capitalistic economies incentivize growth, which creates a massive demand for the cheapest energy possible. Think about it. The more things we want, the more things businesses need to make to keep up with the wants of the people. They need to make it fast or we will lose interest and they will lose money. Supply and demand crash course. The desire to maximize profits allows for these labels to ignore inconvenient truths, like the fact that the art form is lacking in multiple departments and getting stale, lifeless even. And since they're so focused on the business aspect of things, they don't seem very concerned with the preservation of the art form. Now, hip-hop isn't dead, but the medium we consume hip-hop on is just oversaturated. There are just too many options, and a lot of them are mid. Below mid, rather. Our faves are getting either tired, complacent, and cocky, and these new mainstream artists are flat in every way imaginable. You know, and I'm not mad at the new artists for coming in lukewarm, considering the lack of craftsmanship from labels, but I'm slightly disappointed. For the artists, everything they do is under public scrutiny because they weren't allowed a proper maturation period. But consumer feedback is part of their job. Not everything needs to be profound, but a lot of the newer faces we're seeing aren't even hitting the basic fundamentals. Cadence, tone, lyrics, rhythm, dedication, consistency, versatility, discipline, passion, and talent. Heavy on the talent, no shade, but where is it? Where's the substance? Where's the meat? Where's the potatoes? I need it all, and I'm not getting none of it. Unfortunately, though, the Achilles heel is once an artist goes viral and is recognized for a particular trait, aspect, thing, sound, or what have you, that's going to be expected since that's what they established their 15 minutes of fame off of. And since labels are capitalizing on this, how the saying go, if it ain't broke, okay then. Now, whether you like social media or not, you've got to admit its monumental impact on the music industry. It's reshaped the way we discover, promote, consume, and even monetize music. Artists can connect with fans on a global scale, promote their work independently, and monetize their music in ways that were previously unimaginable. Over the years, the music industry has gone from an ownership economy to an attention-based economy. We've gone from mixtapes and CDs to iTunes, YouTube, and other streaming services to the often imitated, never duplicated TikTok. TikTok's growth spread like, well, COVID. About 7 months before the plight of the pandemic, what was previously known as Musical.ly turned TikTok. In 2018, TikTok beat the metaverse, aka Facebook and Instagram, as the #1 downloaded social media app and remained supreme until it got moved over to the entertainment chart, where it still reigns #1. The platform has garnered both fame and controversy. From privacy concerns to censorship issues, the overall consensus of the platform is polarizing. TikTok is like a pocket-sized entertainment world. Using obscure algorithmic protocols, you can watch endless amounts of videos ranging from 5 seconds to 30 minutes, customized specifically for you on your For You page. You can also watch a live feed from your favorite creators and interact with them, and you can purchase things from the TikTok shop. TikTok's infamous short form is all the craze. That's the reason we have Facebook and Instagram Reels. I think Snapchat has something similar, also called Spotlight, but correct me if I'm wrong because it's definitely been a while. Now, where there is light, there's also shadow. There is a burning desire to fill blank spaces in time with entertainment, and TikTok delivers on that promise. We all want to be amused, and TikTok is doing that quicker and faster than ever before. Its goal is to fill an unquenchable audience with entertainment on demand, all served up in a snackable fashion that satiates our diminishing attention spans. Since we're already overstimulated by the oversaturation of content, the blending of short-form media and music has attenuated the substance of hip-hop. Artists are encouraged to not only be artists, but content creators, influencers, and reality TV personalities. All of these things rob musicians of time that could be spent making music and improving their craft. Artistry is being challenged by what consumers and labels are demanding, causing the lore and aesthetics of an artist to be equally important as the art itself. Newsflash, it's not, and it should have never came to this. X, formerly known as Twitter, is the reason for this, but TikTok metastasized the cult-like followings. I don't like playing into the whole generational beef thing because to me it's stupid, but I will say this: millennials, Gen Z, and Gen A are the reason for artists living in these echo chambers. As I stated previously, as an artist, part of your job description is listening to consumer feedback. Even though your average music listener isn't a critic, we have a general idea as to what sounds good and what doesn't. Now, I understand that if an artist listened to the opinion of everybody, there would be no art. But it seems like artists are now adopting this holier than thou mentality, placing themselves above their listeners, causing them to feel invincible to criticism. With the culture of the internet shifting, it seems almost impossible to constructively criticize an artist without being canceled, called a hater, or doxxed. On January 31st, 2024, a licensing agreement between Universal Music Group and TikTok officially expired. UMG and TikTok engaged in negotiations to renew their licensing agreement. However, despite these efforts, they failed to reach a new deal. UMG claimed that TikTok proposed paying artists and songwriters at a rate significantly lower than other major platforms offered, and also expressed concerns about protecting human artists from the harmful effects of AI. Here's an entire list of labels from UMG. For household names such as Kendrick Lamar, Nicki Minaj, and Drake, this shouldn't be, keyword shouldn't be, too much of an issue considering they already have an established fan base beyond TikTok, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how this decision will impact the future of music marketing for emerging artists, considering how TikTok has been the promotion place for music for the last few years. Speaking of music promotion, there's been increased talk about streaming and podcasting becoming the latest and greatest tool for artists to market their music. I'll say this though, the distinction between journalists and personalities has blurred, along with the difference between journalism and entertainment.
What top 5 you smoking on, Kendrick? Cause my top 5 is Drake. If we broke it off, then you...
Twitch is the breeding ground for the next generation of influencers and cultural tastemakers. Kai Cenat is king on that platform. Twitch is a video live streaming service that focuses on video game live streaming, including broadcasts of esports competitions, in addition to offering music broadcasts, creative content, and IRL streams. Kai has established his presence in the rap media landscape because he's well liked and sought after by rappers. Kai's youth, being that he's only 22, is his selling point. With his high childlike energy, his engagement with these artists is very different from the way traditional media interacts with them. Nicki Minaj, along with a few other well-known artists, appeared on his stream to promote their most recent works. Now, Kai is not the only streamer causing an uproar in the hip-hop scene. Aiden Ross is another streamer who is constantly in hip-hop news. Aiden is known for his collaborations with prolific people as well. He is also recognized for his vibrant personality and a few other things. The 23-year-old streamer aligned himself with hip-hop artists and has what appears to be personal relationships with them as well. Now, Kai is no angel, don't get me wrong, but my issue with Aiden is his use of homosexuality in such jokes as his internet persona. Like, be for real, you're 23 and you're sitting up here making gay jokes as if that's peak humor. Call me a killjoy, but that's dated, it's unoriginal, and it's just not funny. And the fact that people with undeveloped prefrontal cortexes are watching these streamers with these influential rappers sounds like a recipe for disaster to me. With the rise of these two creators, their popularity is a reflection of where the hip-hop media landscape might be headed in the next few years. Social media is ubiquitous, so we are used to the characteristics of these platforms: participation, connection, and instant gratification. People like being nosy and are quite delusional. I'm looking at you, toxic fandoms. Parasocial relationships refer to a one-sided relationship in which a person develops a strong sense of connection, intimacy, or familiarity with someone they don't know, most often celebrities or media personalities. These relationships exist only in the mind of the individual who experiences a bond despite the lack of reciprocity. In spite of the overlap, there are a few distinctions between being a fan and being in a parasocial relationship. One distinction is the common separating the art from the artist. Somebody can enjoy the music of a particular artist without caring about their lives off stage. Fans most often enjoy a celebrity for their talent and might view them as a superior, untouchable human being. Not necessarily godlike, but more in the sense that they probably won't see them in their day-to-day lives. Nowadays, there are far fewer barriers between an artist and their audience. Many music consumers are now submerging themselves in the mythology of personality worship, often unable to formulate their own original thought on their faves. Like, do you really like Ice Spice's music, or do you like her relatability in her body? Do you really like Sexy Red's music, or do you like her unapologetic hood activities? Do you really like Sukihana's music, or do you like her as a magician?
What do you know?
That you're a musician. But that's why I'm interviewing you today, so I can get to know you.
So I'm a musician. What the that mean? Make magic or something?
Rap is a male-dominated space, so typically when we have these conversations, they're targeted towards women, specifically Black women, and my intentions aren't to start a smear campaign amongst these ladies, but they just fit the scope of the conversation at the moment. Having a great personality is a great quality, but it is not the job. So when artists try and bang on their personality to sell their music rather than the music selling itself, it is imprisonment to an exploitative cycle of selling selfhood. So many talented artists either sell out due to bad metrics or because they're not willing to trade their integrity for high numbers and are blackballed by the music industry. In an age of instant gratification, superficiality, and sex sells. So since the art itself is no longer prioritized, artists are now utilizing the wow factor of the internet to market their personalities instead of their music. With country music being on the rise, shout out to Beyonce for hit number 1, Black women doing what Black women does, period. I feel like in mainstream hip hop, we're going to hit another shift. Hip hop is going to have no choice but to phase out and be one of those things that we just enjoy reminiscing on, or they're just going to have to get with a completely different program. You know me, I'm always down with the abolishment of one system to uplift another, regardless of the chaos. People are already exhausted by short form content, and the hunger for substance in developed artists is going to be greater than ever before. Music consumers are consuming rather than listening. Thus, we've lost the plot for true artistry. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with experimenting and having fun, since music is cheaper and easier to make than ever before. But unfortunately, too much unfiltered fun ironically leaves less room for innovation and more room for imitation and oversaturation. That's exactly why we have Lil RTS right now. In a time where the line between celebrities, influencers, content creators, artists, and your average Joe is blurred, everyone feels that they're a niche celebrity. A lot of the time, people try to monetize their hobbies when they should have left it at that, a hobby or something that they just recreationally enjoy. I understand that if an artist only has one chance or one time to do something, they're gonna do what works. But it sucks that the art has to suffer because of this. In conclusion, I'm not all too doubtful. I feel like a lot of the times when we up as a society, nature has a way of rebalancing itself. So I'm quite hopeful for the future. Again, hip hop is not dying, but mainstream music sucks. But there is good music out there. You just have to go and look for it and you'll find it. And I know everybody's busy trying to survive in this ever-changing world, but the less time we put towards finding good music, the more time the algorithm has to learn that this is what people want to hear. And labels are going to push that. I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on this issue, if the fault is the label, the artist, or us as consumers. I'd also love to hear if you guys think that this issue is fixable, or will a reformation of the entire structure need to occur, considering the economic and political state of the world. That's all for today's episode. Let's get some conversation going down below. Looking forward to what all y'all gotta say. And that's all for today's episode. Kylee, Simone, signing out.